You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, I guess we should have saw this coming 5 years ago to the day. George Floyd back in 2020 on this day. The day that he died. The day that really kind of changed everything, including sports, for the worse. The NBA, they signed their death warrant after George Floyd. They started standing up for every single criminal, Jacob Blake included. They started spreading lies. It was absolutely pathetic, guys. In the NBA, they suffered immensely. Their audience hasn't returned. Why? Because they kept pushing the lies about a George Floyd and about a Jacob Blake. But this video, guys, is really about George Floyd. Now, the WNBA, guys, I said it many, many times. It is way more woke than the NBA. And really, guys, it's not even close. I mean, I believe up until recently, you still had teams protesting the national anthem or not even coming out for the national anthem. This is crazy. This is how crazy the WNBA is. Well, guess what, guys? We actually have a WNBA team, the Minnesota Lynx, actually honored George Floyd before the game. And by the way, it looked like most of the arena was about half empty, I would say. About half empty. Folks, why is it, man? And I said this on other channels, man. You never, ever, ever see white people honoring white criminals. You never see the Latino community honoring Latino criminals. But when it comes to black people, that is the kind of people that get uplifted. George Floyd is no hero, man. He never was a hero. He was a career criminal. And if we were actually a serious country, guys, we would actually be telling our kids, never grow up to be George Floyd. He's not a civil rights hero. This man was a career criminal that OD'd on drugs. Not the kind of person you want to be. But let's go ahead, guys, and get into it. Here we go. Right over here. WNBA team holds moment of silence for George Floyd as lead social justice insufferability continues. The WNBA, man, is their own worst enemy. Look here. It says, well, would you look at that? The WNBA has made yet another headline that has absolutely nothing to do with the game of basketball. It's just another day where the league, which has never been more popular, cannot get out of its own way. The latest social justice pandering from the league centers around the Minnesota Lynx and the death of George Floyd. And to be clear, you didn't wake up in the past. It is 2025, and we have a professional sports franchise still bringing attention to Floyd's death in 2020. The Lynx hosted the Connecticut Sun on Friday, but before the game tipped off, Minnesota forward Nafisha Collier, or Collier, depending on where you're from, but it's Collier where I'm from, grabbed the microphone at mid-court to address the crowd and say a few words about Floyd 2 days before the 5th anniversary of his death in Minneapolis. And we actually do have the clip right here. Let's check it out.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father, a brother, and a son. And his life, like every life, held meaning. His death exposed the holes that are still in our justice and criminal institutions today. And his 5-year anniversary reminds us that we must continue the fight against criminal, racial, and social injustices. We cannot stay silent. Every life deserves respect and dignity. Thank you.
Man, she said all that, and it looks like half of the arena is empty. Yeah, she brings up racism. Was there any proof whatsoever that there was racism? There was no proof. I mean, guys, the left hated the police so much. The Asian police officer who was just doing crowd control, his back was turned the whole time. They threw him in prison. Yeah, they threw him in prison. What's his name? Tu Tao? They got him. Another white officer as well. I believe his name was Lang. And they got a black police officer too in prison. Alexander King. I believe that was his name. It's sickening, man. It is really, really sickening. George Floyd should not be honored. And these sports leagues, man, they did a lot of damage, man, especially the NBA. Nobody actually really cared about the WNBA, really, until now, because Caitlin Clark hit the scene. But has the WNBA and NBA, have they ever met a criminal they didn't want to uplift? Now, I got to give credit, though, to the NFL. Back in 2020, when the NFL was doing their social justice stuff, owners wanted players to put criminals on the back of their helmets. Or at least these criminals were perceived to be victims of police brutality. I remember the Steelers, man. The players put the name of Antoine Rose Jr., a criminal, on the back of their helmets, because they were told that he was a victim of police brutality. Not the case. Antoine Rose Jr. was a dangerous criminal that was engaged in criminal acts when he died. And the Steelers players said, nah, we are not going to honor this criminal. Shout out to them. But when it came to the NBA, WNBA, nope, we're not going to ask questions. We're just going to virtue signal and honor every single criminal possible. George Floyd's, Jacob Blake's, and the guy down in Atlanta, what was his name? I'm trying to remember. We actually did a video on him where he was actually drunk as a skunk in the Wendy's parking lot. And the police body cam showed the breathalyzer was off the charts. He decided to actually fight the police, grab the taser, which is considered a deadly weapon in Georgia, and he met his maker. And then the Black Lives Matter communists came down there and they burned down the Wendy's. It's sickening, man. It is sickening. It really is. He was a black guy, too. Another one we're supposed to uplift. I'm sorry. I'm not honoring any criminals, and neither should you. George Floyd's death, man, should actually be a lesson in don't be like him. Don't go around and do illegal things. And by the way, let's go back over here. We got a whole list here of George Floyd's criminal record. August 2nd, 1997, Floyd was arrested for delivering less than 1 gram of cocaine to another individual. In 1998, Floyd was convicted of thefts that he committed on September 25th and December 9th of that year. On August 29, 2001, Floyd was sentenced to 15 days in jail for failure to identify to a police officer. October 2nd, 2002, Floyd was arrested for possessing less than 1 gram of cocaine, and he was actually given 8 months in prison. January 2003. I mean, this is just a mere months after the last one. Floyd was arrested for criminal trespassing on private property, and he got 30 days in prison. February 6, 2004, less than a year later, Floyd was arrested for intending to give less than 1 gram of cocaine to another individual. December 5th, 2005, Floyd was arrested for having less than 1 gram of cocaine in his possession. 2009, Floyd was arrested for a first-degree felony, assault and armed robbery, which he participated in on August 9, 2007. In that incident, 2 adult women, Aracely Enriquez and Angel Negrete, were in Harris County, Texas, out here in Houston. That's where George Floyd is from. With a toddler when he heard a knock on the door. When Enriquez looked out the window, she saw a man, Floyd, dressed in a blue uniform, who said he was with the water department. But soon after Enriquez opened the door, she realized that Floyd was not affiliated with the water department, and she attempted to shut the door. But Floyd pressed a pistol against Enriquez's abdomen and forced his way into the house. At that moment, a Ford truck pulled up to the house's main entrance, and 5 other black males exited the vehicle and entered the woman's house along with Floyd. While Floyd and 4 other accomplices searched the residence and demanded to know where any money and drugs may have been hidden, the 5th accomplice struck Enriquez in the head and sides with his pistol while she screamed for help. Floyd and his gang ultimately found no cash or drugs in the house, but they stole jewelry and a cell phone before fleeing the scene in a truck. In 2009, Floyd was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he was eventually paroled in January 2013. That is the woman that was pregnant. And then 2020, someone inside a Minneapolis convenience store called police to report that Floyd had used a $20 counterfeit bill to buy cigarettes before running outside to a nearby parked vehicle. That's the day he died. But go ahead, WNBA. Keep honoring these thugs. That could have been your daughter. That could have been your sister. And George Floyd put a pistol to her stomach. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.